Hi, it's Pastor Andy, and it is Hub Sunday. I'm wearing one of my Kenya shirts, which is kind of a clue. Typically, I try to do that on each Hub Sunday. This week, we're going to talk, Hub Sunday generally has something to do with our response and what we can do from a missions perspective. We've been doing this for about 3 years now on the last Sunday of every month, most every month. And there's something that we need to do. As Christians, we need to be sharing the gospel. As Christians, we need to worship God. As Christians, we need to be concerned about missions. And that's a part of what Hub Sunday is. But as we think about, as Fairfax Baptist Church, where we're going in the future and what we might be doing over this last about 9 or 10 months especially, we've centered on two words, and those two words are hope and love. And let me just state very, very clearly that our world is in a lot of need of hope and love. Our area is in the need for hope and love. We have seen this played out in very drastic ways throughout the world, in many ways over the last year or so, but in our own county over the last even week or so, and over the last month or so. And the reality is that, as I said, all the way about last April or May of 2020, I think this is only going to get worse. And what am I talking about? Well, people are struggling to understand life, struggling to understand their purpose, struggling to remember that they were created for any reason, whether they're Christians or not, and therefore people are taking their own lives, or at least attempting to, at an increasing number of instances. So this week we're going to talk about suicide because it fits with the idea that people are in need of hope and in need of love. And we're going to look at Psalm chapter 88, which is it's not a psalm that turns for the better. It's one of, when you read some of the Psalms, you read at the beginning, you're thinking, oh wow, this is kind of bad, but by the end it'll turn out okay. And kind of like a movie we want to, where the hero wins in the end or whatever, but this Psalm never turns for the better. And the writer of this Psalm had every reason, and I believe he did maintain his hope. He had every reason to maintain his hope because of who he was. And I'll talk more about that Sunday as well, briefly. But the idea that hope never is ultimately present. There's this deepness, this darkness in this psalm, I think makes it real. I think it's part of what makes the Bible real. And so we're going to dive into this a little bit, talk about suicide a little bit, and explore maybe 3 things that we can do very, very simply, very, very easily this next week that might help somebody. We don't know who. You might say, well, hey, suicide doesn't matter to me. Nobody in my family has dealt with that, and we're all good. Well, I promise you this. Somebody whose family member has committed suicide has said those exact same words. We don't know when this might strike us. We don't know when this might affect us. And quite frankly, it's been more than 30 years ago, but I had serious thoughts of suicide as well. So with that, we're going to talk about suicide a bit. We're going to talk about Psalm 88 more with the sermon title, Despaired of Life Itself. Despaired of Life Itself, which is a quote that comes from the great apostle Paul, who despaired of his own life at one point. So I hope if you're not able to be here Sunday, that you will tune in on Sunday. And just a quick reminder that after our worship service, we are going to celebrate. We're going to celebrate birth and life as we have our Big O picnic, Big Zero picnic. So please come, bring a side dish. We're going to do that right here on the church grounds immediately following worship on Sunday. I'll hope to see you there.